This video will contain some flashing lights that may put strain on some viewers' eyes. For your own safety, if you have epilepsy, do not watch this video. Much love! If you've spent even 5 minutes on the kids side of YouTube, you've probably come across LankyBox. And if you haven't, honestly I envy you, because watching a LankyBox video feels less like you're watching a YouTube video, and more like somebody's repeatedly turning your lights on and off while screaming directly into your ear. The only physical equivalency I can think of when it comes to watching a LankyBox video is if somebody shot you in the gut, pulled out your gut, and then stabbed you in the shoulder, and then you were like, oh my goodness, I've been shot. It is just so much happening all the time, instantly at once. Every second is louder than the last. Every cut is faster than any video you've ever seen. The thumbnails are so bright that they could probably send you into a stroke. And the titles are always somehow even more ridiculous than the last. And yet, they have over 40 million subscribers. That is more than the population of Canada. So naturally, the internet has come to one conclusion. LankyBox is brain rot content. Content made to turn your kid's brain into a smoothie so it can go pouring out of their nose. You didn't have to cut me off. Now, by all means, I don't disagree. If LankyBox disappeared tomorrow, which they kind of did, actually, another YouTuber would just come to replace them. LankyBox isn't successful because they're this unique geese. They are not this shining star in the world of darkness.
Oh, Justin! We've gotta go, Adam. Go and get in the car because Grimace is coming to get us and he's gonna make us drink the car.
The light shines, even though the star is gone.
They're not anything special. They are a very formulaic, very overdone type of content that has gotten really popular in the last 10 years, I'd say. It's not just entertainment, it's a product. It's a machine designed to use kids' attention. It's a machine designed to get as much views as possible, to get as many clicks as possible, as many shares as possible. It's a machine designed to bring kids to their store as quick as they can to buy their products. It is all about attention. So today we're going to talk about why LankyBox looks the way it does, why millions of kids just can't tear their eyes away from them. Let's do a little experiment. I'm going to show you this clip.
A leaked version of Rainbow Friends Chapter 3! No way! Let's play it right now! Yeah! Huh? It's locked with a password! Huh?
Okay, so count it. How long does a single thing stay on screen? Seriously. It's almost never more than a couple of seconds.
Got a boomer!
Oh man, that sounds like a boomer!
The camera is constantly zooming, the subtitles are constantly bouncing, music never stops, the sound effects never stops, and someone is always talking. And the thing is, they're not just talking, they are screaming! For no reason. And if they aren't screaming, there's an explosion sound. The colors are turned up so high they look radioactive, and it's so overexposed and borderlining on like genuine dangerous territory that it looks like it was sponsored by the concept of blindness itself. The intros are incredibly short. There's almost no build-up before something exciting is already happening.
I trust these shapes! In this crazy game, there are shapes that we have to rescue, but do not trust them!
And that's because the biggest enemy on YouTube isn't another creator. It's the black button. Or more accurately, the swipe. Every second a viewer is watching your video, YouTube is asking a question. Are they about to leave? And if the answer is yes, well, your video is going to get recommended less. And if the answer is no, congratulations. Your video gets shown to millions of people. Yay. That means every second of every single video is competing against literally every other video on the platform. Not even just the YouTube platform, but it's competing with other stuff. TikToks, Netflix, video games, a text message, a notification, anything. Attention has become one of the most valuable resources on Earth because our lives are almost all contained on social media nowadays. And if your business depends on attention, you're gonna optimize for it. This idea is often called attention economy. Instead of companies competing directly for your money, they're competing for something that eventually leads to money. Your time. You know, the old saying, time is money. The longer you watch, the more advertisements you see, the more likely you are going to click on another video, the more likely you are to buy merchandise. So the more valuable you become. So naturally, creators start asking questions like, what if we cut every boring second? What if we just never stop talking? What if we zoom in to the center of the earth every 3 seconds? And what if every joke is like a sound effect? What if every thumbnail looks like it was designed by a unicorn puking up its guts? And, those all sound ridiculous because they are. But even if those changes makes people stay a little bit longer, the algorithm notices. Ooh, purple, can you speak English, please? The algorithm always notices. And that's where things get really interesting because most people imagine these YouTubers sitting in a room saying, how can we manipulate kids today? But realistically, that's probably not what's happening. What's much more likely is that they're responding to incentive. Imagine making two videos. One has slower editing, natural conversations, normal lighting, and the other has Lightning McQueen fast cuts, brightest colors on earth, louder reactions, more exaggerated thumbnails. The second video is going to get twice as many views. So, if this happens, I'm going to ask you a question. If you want money out of YouTube, which video are you making next? Probably one that's exactly like the second one. Over time, creators just naturally copy whatever performs better. Not because they're evil, but because it's their job. It's survival. In a weird way, YouTube content evolves almost like evolution theory by Charles Darwin. Videos with traits that perform well survive. Videos that don't disappear. That's why so many kids-focused channels started looking strangely familiar. Not because everyone copied LankyBox, that's for sure. They're definitely not the first, but because they're all adapting to the exact same environment. The YouTube algorithm. And the algorithm doesn't care if your video is meaningful. It doesn't care if it's artistic. It doesn't care if it teaches you anything. The only thing the algorithm knows is, did people watch? And if the answer is yes, congratulations, you get to make that exact same video for all of eternity, only more! Everything has got to be more! More fast, more noise, more colors. Because today's internet attention isn't just valuable, it's everything! Everything is competing for your attention! Your attention controls the world. Congratulations, that's in your hands now, little Timmy. Today's video is sponsored by the concept of thirst, everybody. So now we know what LankyBox does. The real question is, why does it work? And there's no answer to that, really. I mean, there is, but the answer isn't what you think it is. It isn't just kids are stupid. Children's brains aren't broken, they're developing. In fact, many of the tricks that channels like LankyBox use on kids, they work on adults too. The difference between young children is they have less experience recognizing persuasive media techniques and less ability to regulate their attention on their own. To understand why these videos work so well, we are going to talk about one of psychology's most influential figures, B.F. Skinner. Skinner was a psychologist who studied how rewards shape behavior, a concept known as operant conditioning. The basic idea is quite simple, it's just behaviors that are rewarded are gonna happen more often. If a rat presses a lever and it receives food every time it presses that lever, it's gonna press the lever more. If a child watches a YouTube video which releases dopamine and it entertains them and makes them feel good, they're gonna watch another. If a YouTuber posts a video that gets a lot of views, a lot of likes, a lot of subscribes, then they're gonna post another video. That doesn't mean that LankyBox sat in a room with a psychology textbook and were, let's see how to manipulate kids today. I don't really think that's the case. The platform itself rewards certain kinds of content. Videos that keep people watching get recommended more. Videos that lose viewers get recommended less. Over the years of uploading, creators naturally learn what works, even if they couldn't explain the psychology behind it. It's a process of trial and error. Now, think about what happens inside a typical LankyBox video. Every few seconds there's a joke, a new sound effect, a zoom, a meme, some loud reaction. Your brain is constantly being presented with something different. This is called novelty. Humans naturally pay attention to new and unexpected things because throughout our history, noticing something new is important. A sudden movement, a loud noise, a bright color, your brain automatically goes, hey! Look at that! Something happened! And that could lead to survival. There's another concept called orienting response. Whenever something suddenly changes, a loud sound, a flashing image, a dynamic or dramatic camera movement, our attention is automatically drawn towards it. It's basically your brain's way of checking, did something important just happen? Now imagine triggering that response every few seconds. The result is a viewing experience where your attention is constantly being redirected before it has a chance to drift. Again, this isn't unique to LankyBox. A lot of kids' television shows and movies do it. TikTok definitely does it. But LankyBox pushes many of these techniques to a ungodly extreme.
Ow! My best friend Adam loves playing this game called Roblox Rivals, which is a 1v1 game in Roblox where you fight other players. I'm gonna join his game disguised as a noob, but I'm gonna be playing in a secret gaming base I made in our house. I'm gonna pretend to be a noob and let Adam win, but then I'm gonna turn on game-breaking hacks and glitches and absolutely destroy Adam.
Creating a style that feels relentlessly energetic. And that is what keeps kids going. You know, for adults, a lot of brain stimulus can be overwhelming, but for a lot of kids, when their brains are still developing and rewarding them for noticing these behaviors, it feels amazing. But I'll admit, this section is going to be hard for me as I talk about this, and I try to keep as objective as I can. But I'm going to talk about why they tend to act like children.
Buzzo, buddy. Who did this?
Don't cry.
Who, Buzzo?
This is so sad.
Just a little sniffle. A little. There's Daddy Longlegs.
Daddy Longlegs.
Poppy. Everybody's so sad.
Wait, I'm actually gonna cry.
Oh no.
I'm not joking, guys. I'm actually gonna cry.
Why do they act like that? It's not just energetic, it's not just goofy. There's something off. Justin and Adam aren't simply adults who happen to be childish. There's nothing wrong with being a childish adult, but they're like adults who are emulating what a kid does. Not just like things like collecting Pokemon cards or playing Roblox. There's nothing unusual about that. But they're like performing childhood. The simplified vocabulary. I can't speak English. The constant repetition. The oversized reaction to tiny events. Even their body language feels intentionally exaggerated. And I don't think that's an accident. Children, especially younger ones, are still learning how to interpret emotions. Facial expressions, humor, and social situations are all new to them. So because of that, children's media is traditionally exaggerated. They're making themselves into these recognizable personalities with recognizable voices, recognizable catchphrases. They're less like traditional YouTubers and they're more like living cartoon mascots. And that matters, especially because their audience is children. They don't just connect with stories, they connect with people. This is called a parasocial relationship. It's a one-sided relationship where viewers begin to feel like they know a creator, even though the creator doesn't know them personally. Creator speaks directly to a camera, they're looking you in the eye, they say something like, "Hey guys, we're back, we missed you." It feels less like you're watching television and more like you're watching a friend. Now combine that with characters like Boxy and Foxy. These mascots aren't just merchandise, they're characters with personalities. They appear in all the videos and songs and animations and thumbnails, and eventually they appear on store shelves. This is where the entertainment and branding begin to blur together. Notice how often the merchandise isn't just introduced like a product, introduced as part of the video or like a joke. They shove it in the face and they're like, "Hey guys, look how funny this is." And that's the best advertisement. It's one that these kids can't tell is an advertisement. And I have no problem with YouTubers having merch, you gotta eat. But the issue is they shove it in the camera and they use it as a prop. They use it as a joke. They use it as a mascot-like figure that you're missing out on the group. You're missing out on the relationship if you don't have that too. So it reinforces a kid's desire to have this product, but it's not exactly a ethical one, like at all. So the conversation isn't just LankyBox is bad, because if LankyBox disappeared tomorrow, another channel would take its place. Not because kids suddenly changed, not because society changed, but because the incentives stayed exactly the same. As long as kids' attention is profitable, people will always be finding better ways to capture it. That's the sad reality. Children's media is falling and getting worse. Not because of the creators, but because of the system. The system promotes this greed. Now, do I support LankyBox as people? Absolutely not. There's several allegations as far as, yes, the title says the problem with LankyBox, I know that. But this is a disease. The entire system of kids' entertainment is facing, and I don't think LankyBox is the disease. It's a symptom in this very dangerous disease for your child's mind. So when you show your kids something, when you let your kid watch something on the iPad, when you yourself watch something like a Mr. Beast video that you don't even recognize what's happening, well, next time you see a thumbnail with glowing red arrows, 10 exclamation marks, and someone making the face of a Victorian child who's just discovered electricity, don't just ask, man, who would watch this? Ask, what kind of internet is rewarding this? Kid media is so important because what they grow up on will shape who they are. This is the next generation. Do we want these people's formative years being influenced by creatively void business decisions? I don't think so. At the end of the day, thanks for watching. Yeah, so I'm not gonna lie, this took me way longer to make than it should have, and my microphone is currently busted beyond all belief, but I just want to thank you for watching the video, genuinely. I've been quite empty lately, and I've had trouble finding motivation to continue making content, but I figured that if I pushed myself to make another video, then I would find that motivation, you know? What better topic to use than two of the most creatively void content creators on the platform? You know, that really motivates you to go out there and do something. And yes, I'm aware that these people have most likely retired, but like I said, I think it's an important case study that needs to be talked about. And yes, I'm aware of all the allegations of stealing animation, like I said in the past video, but I wanted to keep this video as objective and educational as I could. I hope that every time you watch one of my videos, every time you run into me, that you can see that I genuinely have a passion for what I'm doing. And that every time I spend a week researching a topic, every time I write a new script, every time I get in my closet and I record, every time I shove a little meme into my videos, that I'm doing it out of a love for content creation. I'm doing it out of a desire not only to make fun, entertaining content, but so that we can learn together. Because when I research and I write these scripts, I'm learning too, and that I can make this content that we can both be educated together. I hope you liked it. Remember, Jesus loves you. I love you guys too, and I hope you have a blessed and wonderful day. Bye bye.